signs in the sun, moon, and stars. Mazzaroth Decoded number 10. Here we go, family. Welcome back. We are looking at very important sign in the heavens. This is an alignment happening this evening with Comet 323P Soho, and it's hard to see, but if we scroll in, we can see that the moon is literally right here next to Soho in the image. This is, we'll watch the minutes go by, and you can see that the moon just passes directly by Soho, and this is an incredible approach here, because you just can't see the moon. It doesn't have enough light. The moon is in transition to the sun, so it's getting less and less light, but if we just transition through the minutes, you can see the very faint outside line of the moon as it passes, and then the moon line almost disappears. So it's a very incredible sign. We'll go ahead and bring it back to where it's right next to the moon, and you can see here that there it is, the alignment of the moon and Comet 323P Soho this evening at 5:34 Pacific Standard Time in the backside of the constellation of Capricorn. Again, this is the area of resurrection. The backside of Capricorn is a fish coming to life, the sign of the resurrection of the fish, and we can see the southern fish, and then we can also see that Pisces is a fish sign. So we have the fish within all of these signs in what we call the celestial sea, and this is a very important alignment. Let's go ahead and look at the codes for Comet Soho. Equals April Fools, Blackout, Apocalypse, I am the Messiah, I am of Christ, the Creator, being the bride of God, child of light, God's house, jubilation, salvation, be not deceived, abomination, moonlight, God's language, angelic hosts, March Madness, Shamrock Snake, the End Bible Code. And I'm going to have to look that up. I have not gotten to that point yet. I will check into that, and we'll get back to you on those codes. But what we're looking at here is a sign to the bride, and this is also a resurrection sign because of it being in the very back section of Capricorn, which is the entrance into Aquarius. And as we said in the last video, we have the Sun and Ceres that are in the house of Aquarius, and that's the bridegroom. And we can look at Ceres as the marriage judge, and or the goddess of marriage, and the moon as the bride transitioning into the house of Aquarius, with the judge there is a very, very, very important sign, and we are seeing it marked by Comet Soho, and all we have to do is look at these codes, being the bride of God. There, just look at the codes. They all align with what we're looking at. I believe that April Fools, that I believe that is a sign of those who will be left behind. That we have the escape of the bride signs that are all culminating now between the end of February and the third week of March, and we have our spring equinox. We have the equilux signs coming up, and I believe everything is in transition to being completed. And these are all signs here with these comets and these asteroids of the upcoming events. So now we're going to look at asteroid Israel, and we will come back and we'll be looking more at Comet Soho as it transitions through the house of Aquarius, and we'll be talking about that soon. There's some very, very important alignments coming up with that comet in March. So keep your eyes peeled to the skies, because there's multiple comets that are going to be coming into play into this story. So let's go ahead and move to Israel, and this is happening today. Let's go ahead and get the timing. Another very, very, very important sign in the heavens, and we're looking at asteroid Israel, and it is lined up with the band of the eastern fish, and we can see here that Iris, as we showed, Iris just made its alignment yesterday, which is I'm sorry, on the 24th. Today's the 26th, so on the 24th, Iris, the Eye of God, made its alignment with the Eastern Fish Band, and now we see Israel. This is the northern tribes. This is considered the lost tribes of Israel, and that is different than the house of Judah. We're seeing the house of Israel and the sign of Israel with the eastern fish, and that's going to become very, very important as we transition through this rest of this month into the following month, and we'll be showing you the signs with that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the codes for Israel. Asteroid Israel equals Philadelphia Union, Thessalonians, a dark night rises. I open in the book of life. K, Lord's inheritance, the alien arrival, Jesus' arrival, Christ to come back, heaven is revealed, the Lord's eyes, the narrow gate, our Redeemer, Jesus in Recoded. And that's another one I'm going to have to get into doing some work on. Whenever I see something that says coded, it usually sends me down another rabbit hole. So, break the matrix, suddenly taken, garment of light, SARS-CoV-2, Antichristos, C. Anunnaki bloodline, Lion Estates. Remember Back to the Future. Okay, fam, we're looking at asteroid Israel on the band of the eastern fish now, and that's a very important sign. We're looking at multiple signs here in the eastern fish. We have let's go ahead and go there now. I believe Mercury's in. Let's go ahead and scroll in, and Mercury is in transition. Sorry, fam, I have to do it this way because of... Okay, so here we can see today on Meridian, we can see that Mercury has now transitioned into the house of the fish on the same day that Israel lines up with the band. And again, Mercury is seen as a messenger, and Mercury is Archangel Raphael, and this has to do with healing. Raphael is the Archangel of healing, and we'll be getting into that when we do the celestial hierarchy decode. We are going to get into detail into Raphael because it's one of my signs, and one of the reasons that I do the apothecary and I make the original prescription of the holy anointing oil. I'm trained in how to make all of the ancient prescriptions for that oil, and very few people understand how to do that. I was trained almost 30 years ago in how to make very, very important spiritual, vibrational apothecary that is infused into oils, and this has to do with the holy anointing oil. We'll be getting into that also when we discuss the products that I'm making. It goes really, really deep into the foundations of how we're created, and it's really, really special stuff. But it's going to be multiple videos just to break all that stuff down. But here we're seeing the Archangel Raphael, who is the archangel that is responsible for Mercury and also uh, the guidance of healing. And that is very important when it comes to this planet moving into the house of the fish, especially at this time. And we can also see Neptune in the house. We won't be going into that. I've already done a lot of discussion into that. But there's certain characters that are here in this house, along with the asteroids and all the other things that we're seeing, play a role in the story. So it's really important to understand that Mercury today is transitioning into the house of the fish. So we've got that. We already did. Now let's go ahead and move to asteroid Jerusalem, and we will be watching this transition. We'll go ahead and back it up to the very beginning of the day, and we're going to just go ahead and watch it from here. This is a very, very important transition, and this happens over the next day. I think it's a day and a half. But let's go ahead and watch this asteroid and watch its path. Okay, fam, I want you to pay attention to, here. We can see that on 311, asteroid Jerusalem is marking Gamma Tauri, and it is going directly along the line. This is very important for us to see, and we're just watching it transition back, and we're going to be making another alignment. Okay, so let's back it out, and we can watch this asteroid mark here we are. We're looking at the marking of the Lambda Tauri star. You can see how we can just transition through the day, through the hours, and you can see how it's now passing the Lambda Tauri star, and it just keeps transitioning until the 11th, when it makes its alignment up into the head of Taurus. But this asteroid is very, very important because it's marking the entire constellation, essentially, of the horns and the head of Taurus. And this is asteroid Jerusalem. And this was a really important sign to me. And so let's go ahead and look at the codes. We have asteroid Jerusalem equals pleasing to Jesus, K. Sleeper is awakened, MK. Your blood is key. Volcanic eruption. See, I call all angels of power. The earth will shake. The everlasting Father. 777. The great solar flash. Love is the answer. The one I love is called Jesus' second coming. Resurrection Day. We are all God's children. Delivering truth. K. The Holy Warrior. Castor and Pollux. California earthquake. Rebuild Tower of Babel. And I believe that is associated with CERN and all of the things that they have built all over the planet that are associated with the smashing of ions, and they are doing all kinds of stuff in um, those facilities between CERN and Alice. Think about the name Alice and down the rabbit hole. We're looking at portals. And if you are familiar with um, this area of Taurus, then you'll know why it's really, really important. Let's just go ahead and run forward, and I want to show you something here. This is really, remember on the 11th, we have the alignment with the Gamma Tauri star, and then on the 15th, here we are on Meridian on the 15th, and if you look at the location of Jerusalem, fam, this is uh, what I would consider the most important sign of all of the signs that are associated with the escape of the bride. This has got to be one of the most important signs I've ever seen. Um, it takes a deep study into what's called the Hyades, and it's not shown like the Pleiades, which has a um, let's just go ahead and pull it up. We'll pull back. If you look at the Pleiades, this is an actual uh, field called Messier 45. Let's pull this up really quick. This is just some basic information, and it'll help us to understand this. It's all part of this sign because Jerusalem, uh, riding right along that line, this has everything to do with the 7 stars in the right hand. Um, And I think we have this sign with this asteroid Jerusalem aligning with the Pleiades and the Hyades. So first we have the Pleiades is known as the Seven Sisters. It's Messier 45. I will go ahead and connect this in the description, but let's get back to the location here. Um, this area where you see all the stars clustered, it really gets apparent here. All of these stars that are in the head of Taurus here, especially with the ones that are here below Jerusalem, lined up with Theta Tauri, and you can just look at Theta Tauri like the center, and there's a cluster of stars all around. This is called the Hyades, and this is the area of what they call the called out ones. And the Pleiades is looked at as the unwise virgins. So we have the five wise virgins as the Pleiades, as the Hyades, and the unwise virgins as the Pleiades. And uh, whenever we have a sign here within the head of Taurus, or something that aligns with Aldebaran, the eye of the bull's eye, whenever this head section of Taurus is marked by anything, it's very, very important because it's pointing to the Hyades, which is what we would consider the wise or the called out bride of Christ. And again, we have Jupiter that's between the horns, ruling the constellation or the house, and that's very, very important when it comes to the king holding the seven stars in his hand. And then we see Jerusalem on the day of the transition into, let's go ahead and watch it another day forward. We can see right here on 3/16, the equinox, we have asteroid Jerusalem in the very center of the head of Taurus, and we can go ahead and watch it transition out of the head of Taurus, and we can see that this alignment on the 11th, we can see here, and we can just watch it transition through the head. Goes right through the center of the head, and again on the 16th and the 15th, it's making its transition across what we call the golden gate of the ecliptic. And this is very important for you to go do your research on the golden gate of the ecliptic. This area, when all the planets and the asteroids and anything transitions across this line between the Pleiades and the Hyades through the head of Taurus, you'll see this line. This line here is the golden gate of the ecliptic, and you'll see the red line that goes directly across it. When anything transitions, whether that's an asteroid or a comet or a planet or the sun or the moon, they are transitioning into the golden gate of the ecliptic. It's a very important part of the heavens. And then when it gets to Elnath, or the other uh, horn star of Taurus, these two top horn stars of Taurus are the entrance into the Silver Gate, which is the Milky Way. And this Golden Gate of the Ecliptic is a transitional, what some would call a stargate, entrance into the portal of the Silver Gate. And it's very important to understand these details. That's why this alignment on the 15th and 16th with the asteroid Jerusalem and the codes, you can't make these kinds up. This is connected to resurrection. This is connected to uh, trying to wake everybody up. It's talking about angels. It's talking about the earth shaking. We have very, very specific language that's going on. We all know that this is the seat of the tribe of Judah and the temple, and it has a lot of details that we can dig out with our understanding of this alignment. So that was really, really important. We have that alignment happening today. Now let's go to Metis, and this is going to be our final sign for the day, and we're going to go back and we're going to watch this transition here. And as many of you know, we have been watching Metis for a while as it transitions through the altar of Libra, and this is really important to see this today. We're looking at asteroid Metis. And if you've been following me for a while, then you know Metis equals wedding. This asteroid has been playing a part in my celestial education for years and years and years. This one is definitely in the top 5 of all of my finds. And Metis is number 9, and that means it's the 9th asteroid that was named and um, studied, and they built the trajectories and everything. The 9th one, and that's really important. Also, if you get into the numerical values for 9. It goes really, really deep. And I have been tracking Metis for a long time. It's been very, very important in my science. And it's also usually connected with Vesta. And we can see that both of these are in the house of Libra. And Metis is making its transition out today. So let's look at what asteroid Metis equals. Here we go. Asteroid Metis equals Christ, the Lamb of God, the Good Shepherd, Spirit of Enoch, Message from the King, Song of Solomon. If you haven't read that book, I suggest you go read it. It's all about, uh, it's an encoded love story, and it's all about the bride and the bridegroom. The Lotus, Morpheus, Great Global Reset, United States, Four Horsemen, Beast from the Sea. I am opening the seals, okay? I'm pilot of the plane. 127. The stage is set. Eyes of the Lord, the biblical Messiah. Midnight Riders Ride. Star of Bethlehem. You can see why I've been tracking this one for a while. And then again, Metis itself equals wedding. You can look that up for yourself. And then having Vesta in the house, there are others that we know of, like Zabowska and others that are still here in the house, but they're not making their alignment, so we're not going to point them out. And again, this is a sign to the bride of Christ that the marriage signs are still in play, and now we see Metis. Let's just go ahead and do that really quick. I was going to come back and show this, but we're going to do it right now. Let's go ahead and just watch this. I want you to see, it's really, really important to see this. It's very important to see this, fam. Okay, this is very important for everybody to see. We have a transition here. I want you to watch this in the heavens. Let's get even closer. I want you to watch this in the heavens. We have a transition right here. On the 21st is the final day of Metis moving forward, and look at where it's at, family. Metis, the wedding, on the day it begins to go into retrograde, watch, Metis moves back, and now Metis comes back into the altar. Let's watch the transition. Boom! Metis hits the scales of justice, family. Boom! Metis hits the scales. And I was going to bring this forward later, but this is very important. And you can also, if we scroll out and we run this, here's the alignment. Watch Vesta as this goes and hits the scale. Right? Look at this, family. We can see this transition from today. It hits the scales and boom. I didn't even see the moon transition through, so here we now have the bride sign. The moon is in the altar. Vesta is at the peak of the altar. Remember, Vesta's the virgins, and Metis is the wedding. And we're looking at the moon transitioning through the altar. And again, on the 21st, it stands still on the scales of justice, family. And on the 22nd, it makes its move back to the altar. Thanks for coming. Metis, the wedding.